Hello, welcome back everyone to Actual English. I'm Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 199. And today let's talk about concession stands. Now, if you're by any chance wondering what a concession stand or what concession stands are, simply put, in American English, we also call them kiosks or snack bars. Snack kiosks or snack bars. It's basically a place where you can purchase food and drinks. So you'll find tons of these concession stands at places such as fairs, even entertainment venues, or even sports venues such as a baseball stadium. Now, prices of goods sold at concession stands, they tend to be a lot higher or greater than elsewhere. Why? Of course, because they are closer to the actual place that the action is happening, okay? So they're closer, thus providing you convenience, thus the food and the drinks tend to be a bit more expensive. So there are types of food sold at concession stands. They're often junk food, such as French fries. We'll find lots of hot dogs in Korea, even rice cake. But the most common ones I would have to say are, let's say, hot dogs, chicken, fried chicken, for example. You'll find soft drinks. In Korea, you'll definitely find drinks such as beer at these concession stands. You'll find tons of cotton candy and pretzels and a whole lot of stuff. Now, these arenas, or the newer arenas, now include multiple concession stands in which they form a food court and a variety of fast food as well. And sometimes you may even go to an outdoor entertainment venue and you'll see food trucks. And they sometimes may operate as concession stands as well. So today, let's talk about concession stands and the great things about concession stands in Korea. You'll find tons of things to eat and drink. Okay, let's get started.
Hey Peter, when you hit the concession stand at your last game, were there any surprises for you? Because I know there were for me.
Let me think. I mean, the sheer number of concession stands was amazing at a baseball game in Korea, so you don't have to queue too long, which is great. And they sell like fried chicken and beer, which is common at football games in England, but not so much at cricket games, which I guess is the equivalent. At cricket games in England, we have tea and biscuits and things like that.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's a very gentlemanly sport, yes, cricket. They do have a tea break during the game. So that was quite different. But the biggest thing that I liked about Korea is you can take your alcohol into the stadium, like into your seat.
Yeah, where I grew up, alcohol was not allowed in public places, and so that was a shock for me.
Yeah, like in the UK, at a football match, you can drink it at the concession stand, but you're not allowed to take it to your seat. But here in Korea, they have people with like these beer rucksacks on, and they come and fill up your cup. It is superb.
I know, that was crazy. I actually had my first American baseball game. Was there maybe, I don't know. My memory, 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And then I had one experience with Korea. In America, it's very similar to Canada. You've got your traditional hot dog, pizza, soda, chips, nachos. It was an addition and burritos that was new for me. But Korea was just, something else, something new.
You can have anything, right? You have kimbap, you can have dried squid,
anything,
dumplings.
Anything. Well, I guess it's just another part of baseball culture to experience. So definitely for all those people who haven't been, hit the concession stand and try something brand new, right?
Yeah, you won't regret it. Well, your stomach might, but it'll be okay.
Today we're talking about concession stands, and Peter and Kelly, they sound like they are amazed by the variety of foods they can find at these concession stands in Korea, that is. Not so much in Canada or the US or in the UK, but in Korea, definitely. You'll find almost everything you want to try at these concession stands. Kelly has even mentioned something about how it is a culture to experience. in baseball, that is, in Korea. If you like baseball, you got to check out baseball and these concession stands. The culture of the whole baseball, feel, or the whole baseball culture is something worth experiencing in Korea. Okay, let's check out what they have mentioned in the conversation in more detail. Here we go. Kelly says, hey Peter, when you hit the concession stand at your last game, were there any surprises for you? Now, we can tell that she is asking about something that happened in the past. Last game, meaning the last game you went to. When you hit the concession stand. Hit here, we'll take a look at that word later on as well, but it means to go to. When you hit the concession stand at your last game, at the last game you went to, were there any surprises for you? Meaning, were you surprised by anything? Peter thinks for a while. He says, let me think. And he says, the sheer number of concession stands was amazing at a baseball game in Korea. So he's talking about the sheer number of concession stands in Korea. Now, the word sheer has several meanings. It actually is an intensifier. It's used to emphasize a very steep number of something, okay? But sheer can mean several things, as I mentioned. Let's say, for example, a sheer shirt can mean a see-through shirt. A sheer mountain can be a mountain that is almost impossible to climb, a sheer cliff, for example. If an automobile, such as a car, shears, we're saying that it swerves, greatly, okay, or suddenly. Okay, sheer, swerve. So the word sheer has many different definitions, but here we're saying the sheer number of, the vast number of, large number of, a very high number of concession stands was amazing. And of course, Kelly agrees. She says, that is true. Okay, let's continue. So you don't have to queue too long, which is great. Okay. Just in case you're not familiar with this word, queue. This word is pronounced as you would pronounce the letter Q. Okay? Queue, queue. This means to wait in line or to stand in line. So he's saying there are so many concession stands in Korea that you don't have to wait too long. Wait in line too long. You don't have to queue too long. Now they sell fried chicken and beer, which is common at football games in England. Okay, but, what did he say? But not so much at cricket games. Remember, if you have been, watching every single one of our lessons, Peter has mentioned something about how there is no baseball in the UK, but there is a game called cricket, which is very similar to baseball. So he's saying, well, you'll find fried chicken and beer in Korea, which is very common. And even in the UK, you will find fried chicken and beer where? At football games, okay, in England, but not so much at cricket games. At cricket games, you will not find beer and fried chicken. He says, at cricket games in England, we have tea and biscuits. Sounds very sophisticated, right? So at a cricket game, you find tea and biscuits. Now, he says tea, which is very easy. What about biscuits? Of course, almost automatically, you might think of very soft, small breads that look like cake, for example. Yes, we call them biscuits in America, for instance. But in the UK, biscuits, they're talking about crackers or cookies. So in America, in America or even in Canada, what we would call crackers or cookies are called biscuits in the UK, in England. Okay, so keep that in mind. So he's saying tea and biscuits, meaning crackers. And then Kelly says, do you really have tea and biscuits at cricket games? He says, yeah, it's a very gentlemanly sport. Notice, he doesn't say it's a manly. He doesn't say it's a masculine sport, but he says it is a very gentlemanly sport. He's saying that it's not such a raw game, but it's more of a gentleman type of sport, okay? Kind of sophisticated sport. So that was quite different. And then he says, but the biggest thing I liked about Korea is you can take your alcohol into the stadium, into your seat. Now, into your seat or to your seat, they both work. So the whole point is he's saying it's wonderful how you can actually take alcohol into the stadium straight to your seat or into your seat. That's brilliant, he says. Now, brilliant here means marvelous. That's super. That's wonderful. That's great. But brilliant could also mean very intelligent. Okay, so brilliant also has several definitions. But here he's saying, you know, that's wonderful. That's marvelous. That's brilliant. That's super great. Now, here Kelly says, where I grew up, alcohol was not allowed in public places. There are a lot of places where alcohol is not allowed in public places. In some places, I believe, when I was in New York, you could drink alcohol on the streets, but not just by the bottle. You always had to put it in a brown bag. So you had to hide the bottle so people wouldn't know what the drink is. So if you were drinking alcohol on the streets, you always had to put it in a bag and drink it, even beer. So she's saying where I grew up, alcohol was not allowed in public places. And so that was a shock for me. What was a shock for her? Being able to drink alcohol at a baseball stadium or being able to bring alcohol into the stadium was a shock for Kelly. If you say something was a shock for me, you're saying that it was a surprise to you, okay? It was a surprise for you. It was something that was very hard to believe. Now, Peter says, in the UK at a football match. By now you probably know what football here means. He's talking about soccer, okay? In the UK, they call soccer football. So, in the UK at a football match, you can drink it at where? The concession stand. But you're not allowed to take it to your seat. See, that is a huge difference. And then he says, but here in Korea, they have people with these beer rucksacks on, and they come and fill up your cup. Okay, there are people with these beer rucksacks on, and they come and fill up your cup. Let's break it up to make it a bit easier for you to understand. So imagine there are people with rucksacks on. A rucksack is another word for like a large bag. It's usually used a lot in American English and Canada, I believe, or rather in British English, people would say rucksack, but in the US and Canada, we prefer to call them large bags, okay? So rucksacks are large bags. They usually have straps, 2 straps, and they have a frame as a support, and you usually wear them on your back. So people that go mountain climbing sometimes could wear rucksacks. But definitely at these baseball stadiums, you will see people walking around with these large bags on their backs, with these rucksacks on, and they come by and they fill up your cup. Okay, fill up your cup, meaning fill your cup with beer, that is. That's exactly what he is talking about. Beer rucksacks. Large bags filled with beer. She says, I know that was crazy. Crazy meaning what? Insane in a good way. She's saying, that was crazy. I know, it was unbelievable. She loved it. Actually had my first American baseball game. When was it? She says it was maybe, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. Okay. She brings it up because she's not quite sure, but she thinks it was about 5-6 years ago. I don't know, 5-6 years ago. In America, it's very similar to Canada. Okay. So she's saying that going to these sports venues or sports arenas, things are very similar to Canada. America and Canada, they're very similar. You've got your traditional hot dog, pizza, soda. We're talking about carbonated drinks, soda pops, chips and nachos and burritos. She is just listing a number of things you will find in America and Canada. And then she says, that was new for me, but Korea was just something else. Something new. Now, something new is easy, right? But what about something else? If you say that somebody or something is something else, you're saying that it is hard to describe in words because there's something special about it. It's exceptional, okay? We'll practice that later on. So she's saying, but Korea was just something else. It was exceptional. Okay, it was so good. Something new. You can have anything, right? He says. Anything and everything, I would say. You have kimbap. You have dried squid. Dumplings. Any kind of wants to go on, but Kelly says, yes, anything. Well, I guess it's just another part of baseball culture to experience that is in Korea. So, definitely for all those people who haven't been. What was omitted? Haven't been to a baseball game. She says, hit the concession stand and try something brand new. Now, here's the word hit. It's one simple word, but as I explained to you in the beginning of today's actual talk, hit does not actually mean to hit something or to strike something. In this case, it means to go to or experience. So she's saying, well, for all of those people who haven't been to or who haven't been to an actual baseball stadium in Korea, hey, hit the concession stand. Go to the concession stand. Experience it by going to them and try something brand new. And Peter says, yeah, you won't regret it. Meaning, it's really great. So yeah, you ought to try it. And then he says, well, your stomach might. Meaning what? Your stomach might regret it. But what does he mean by that? He says, you won't regret it, but your stomach might. He's saying because you will enjoy the food there, the variety of foods there, that you may end up eating too much, that you might end up having an upset stomach. So he's saying your stomach could or might regret it, but you should definitely try it out. He says, but it'll be okay. All right, and that is all for today's actual talk conversation. All right, then let's take a listen to it one more time.
Hey, Peter, when you hit the concession stand at your last game, were there any surprises for you? Because I know there were for me.
Let me think. I mean, the sheer number of concession stands was amazing at a baseball game in Korea, so you don't have to queue too long, which is great. And they sell like fried chicken and beer, which is common at football games in England, but not so much at cricket games, which I guess is the equivalent. At cricket games in England, we have tea and biscuits and things like that.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's a very gentlemanly sport. Yes, cricket. They do have a tea break during the game. So that was quite different. But the biggest thing that I liked about Korea is you can take your alcohol into the stadium, like into your seat.
Yeah, Where I grew up, alcohol was not allowed in public places, and so that was a shock for me.
Yeah, like in the UK, at a football match, you can drink it at the concession stand, but you're not allowed to take it to your seat. But here in Korea, they have people with these beer rucksacks on, and they come and fill up your cup. It is superb.
I know, that was crazy. I actually had my first American baseball game. Was there maybe, I don't know. My memory, 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And then I had one experience with Korea. In America, it's very similar to Canada. You've got your traditional hot dog, pizza, soda, chips, nachos. It was an addition and burritos that was new for me. But Korea was just, something else, something new.
You can have anything, right? You have kimbap, you can have dried squid,
anything,
dumplings.
Anything. Well, I guess it's just another part of baseball culture to experience. So definitely for all those people who haven't been, hit the concession stand and try something brand new, right?
Yeah, you won't regret it. Well, your stomach might, but it'll be okay.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for our next segment, Actual Expressions. We've got some words for you. Let's go over them and then move on to our patterns for the day. Okay, we've got some simple words here. Sheer. Now, please do keep in mind that this is one syllable. It's not she-all, it's sheer, ear, sheer, and it means infinite or unlimited. We were talking about something very extreme or very steep, that is, okay? What about Q? I did mention that it is pronounced exactly as you would pronounce the letter Q, okay? Q. Q, it means to line up. It could also mean the line in which people stand in as well. What about biscuit? Okay, it's biscuit, biscuit, and especially in British English, okay? In British English, biscuit means cracker or cookie, so please do keep that in mind as well. Okay, moving on to a few more. Brilliant, brilliant. It's not brilliant, not 4 syllables, it's 2 syllables. Brilliant, brilliant, okay? And it means excellent, superb, or outstanding. It could also mean greatly intelligent, but in today's actual talk conversation, yes, it meant something that was superb, great, wonderful. Now we've got our final vocab for the day, rucksack. Rucksack. I did mention it is just another word for a large bag, so some synonyms are backpack, also a knapsack, or simply a pack or a large bag. Remember, I said they usually have 2 straps that you wear on your shoulders, and they have a supporting frame. That is called a rucksack. Okay, let's move on to our patterns then. Be a shock for someone. That was a shock for me. It means that was a surprise to me. That was a shock for me. Okay, here we go. The sheer number of concession stands at baseball stadiums was a shock for me. See, I used the word sheer, meaning the vast number, okay? So I was surprised to see so many concession stands at baseball stadiums. Our next one, something else, meaning something special about it. It can be about a person or a thing. That picture is something else, meaning that picture is so great that it's hard to describe how great he is or she is, okay? There's something special about that person. The picture or that picture is something else, okay? What about this? Going to a baseball game in Korea is something else. It's exceptionally good. One final pattern. Hit something. Not hit, but we're talking about going to a certain place or experiencing something. Here we go. My friends and I are going to hit the ballpark this weekend. This is another word for baseball field or baseball stadium. So instead of saying, I'm going to go to a baseball stadium next week or this weekend, try saying, I'm going to hit the ballpark. It means I'm going to go watch baseball. Job well done.
Baseball season is back with a bang, and my team, Lotte Giants, are on their way to the finals again. Well, maybe not. They're playing poorly again. But the greatest thing about going to the baseball is the concession stands. Here in Korea, there are so many different food options. It's a brilliant, brilliant thing. In my country, when you go to the stadium, you can buy food and drink, but you can't take it back into the stadium to watch the game. So you can either eat or you can watch the game. You can't do both. It's a real pain. Here in Korea, it's a completely different scenario. It's so relaxed and you have so many different food options. You can have fried chicken, Burger King, pizza, and you can relax and watch the game at the same time. It's a wonderful thing. Also, here in Korea, you have the people that walk around selling beer and kimbap inside the stadium at the time. You're really, really lucky.
Well, every foreigner loves the fact that you can actually take alcohol into the stadium. I love it too. Okay, so Martin has helped us out. Let's take a look at his actual story. Baseball season is back with a bang, and my team, Lotte Giants, are on their way to the finals again. So we've got back with a bang. If you say to go with a bang, it means that it is very exciting. Okay, spectacularly, for example. Baseball season is back with a bang, and Lotte Giants are on their way to the finals, meaning they're getting closer to the finals again. They're playing poorly again. They're not doing so well, but the greatest thing about going to the baseball game or stadium is, sorry, must have left that out. What's the point? Concession stands. That is the greatest thing about going to baseball. Here in Korea, there are so many different food options. Okay, and then he talks about how in his country, in the UK, they are not allowed to take alcohol into the stadium, but in Korea, you'll find people walking around with beer, filling up your cups with beer, and also selling foods such as kimbap. Okay, it is really a fun culture to experience. Thank you so much, Martin. Job well done.
Baseball season is back with a bang, and my team, Lotte Giants, are on their way to the finals again. Well, maybe not. They're playing poorly again. But the greatest thing about going to the baseball is the concession stands. Here in Korea, there are so many different food options. It's a brilliant, brilliant thing. In my country, when you go to the stadium, you can buy food and drink, but you can't take it back into the stadium to watch the game. So you can either eat or you can watch the game. You can't do both. It's a real pain. Here in Korea, it's a completely different scenario. It's so relaxed and you have so many different food options. You can have fried chicken, Burger King, pizza, and you can relax and watch the game at the same time. It's a wonderful thing. Also, here in Korea, you have the people that walk around selling beer and kimbap inside the stadium at the time. You're really, really lucky.
I like how Martin has also mentioned that it's, nice and fun, great to be able to relax as you watch baseball, enjoying the foods you want to eat. You tend to get fat when you, eat like that at baseball games or at any other sports event. Anyhow, there was one thing I did want to point out to you. In the beginning, he said baseball season is back with a bang, and my team, Lotte Giants, are on their way to the finals again. Now, there are group nouns, and group nouns can be used with both singular and plural, such as bank or the government, for example. So let's say, for example, when you say, my team is in Busan right now, and they're doing great. Now, is in Busan, but they're doing really well. So it can be used in the singular and plural form. Okay, please do keep that in mind. So today we talked about what? Concession stands. Hope you learned a lot and had a wonderful time. Next time, let's talk about, what really makes baseball exciting? Home runs. Okay, we'll talk about home runs next time in our next or following lesson. In the meantime, come to our homepage, everyone. Come on over to www.ebse.co.kr. Once you're there, look for Actual English with Jennifer and post your comments there. Okay, that is all for today, everyone. I'll catch you again next time. Take care and bye for now.